we all suffer from what we call sarcopenia at the end of the day. Sarcopenia is the wasting away of muscle tissue and strength. And we lose about 3 to 5% of our muscular mass per decade after the age of 30. You're like, well, what's the big deal? When we lose our strength and our muscle mass, we decrease our cognitive function, our balance goes down, our energy goes down, our libido goes down, our blood pressure, cholesterol, and sugar levels go up, think type 2 diabetes, our joints start to degrade, arthritis starts to sit in. So all of these things can be combated through strength training. That's why I think it's like the fountain of youth, and everybody should be doing some form of strength training as they age.
The following is brought to you by Thryv, the end-to-end client experience platform that helps you get the job, manage the job, and get credit.
Hey, this is Gordon Henry at Winning on Main Street. And this week, we're fortunate to spend some time with Jeff Tomaszewski. Welcome to the show, Jeff.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
So quick intro on Jeff. Jeff is the owner of MaxStrength Fitness in Westlake, Ohio, Cleveland's premier personal training facility. He opened MaxStrength in May 2007 and a second facility in May 2017 in Willoughby, which is nearby. And the MaxStrength Fitness franchise is really being launched right now. We're going to get into that. Jeff says his mission is to help as many people as possible to live a high quality life into their golden years. And I hope you really listen to Jeff's message, because what I think our listeners can get out of this is how Jeff launched his company, MaxStrength, and how he's pursuing his franchising business and what this might mean for you. So Jeff, let's start just at the beginning of your journey. What got you into fitness?
Yeah, so it all started when I was young. My dad sat us all down on the couch. It was me and my two older brothers, and he told us what we were afraid to hear. And even though at the age of 5, I knew exactly in my gut what he was about to say, and it was, your mom's gone. And my mom suffered from ovarian cancer at the age of 37 and fought hard for 18 months and then passed away. And I saw what cancer did to her and just ravaged her body and, just decreased her strength and her energy and her soul. And so it was at that moment in time, unbeknownst to me at the time, but come to find out later, where a passion and a seed was planted in me to help people become the strongest versions of themselves so they didn't suffer like my mom did. So I got into high school and I was big into sports, and I saw the athletic trainer helping us athletes return to sports. And so I got into physical therapy, into sports medicine. When I graduated from college, I worked in a physical therapy practice. I thought that was my life's calling because I really was doing good for people and helping them return to functional ability and becoming stronger versions of themselves. But the problem with insurance at the time and still today is that, it's limited. And so they only have so many visits that they can have. And so I decided to go out on my own and developed a protocol that I had founded that really helps people become the strongest version of themselves in a fraction of the time they would normally spend in the gym. So us at MaxStrength Fitness, it's 20 minutes twice a week, in, out, back to your busy day. We talk more about the protocol in a minute. I just truly believe that everybody deserves to be healthy, fit, and strong and live life on their own terms.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I wanted to get into that culture at MaxStrength and how it's different from most gyms. So you began to talk about it there. Many gyms you go to, and they're intimidating for people sometimes because, they're heavy duty bodybuilders. What's different about MaxStrength, and particularly how have you sort of nourished this culture that is bringing people in?
Yeah, I call us the anti-gym, and the fact that we're the traditional opposite of a traditional gym. So when you walk into our studio, it's clinically controlled. That means the temperature's controlled. It's cooler. We keep it about 67 degrees Fahrenheit, and we keep it cool because I want to keep your body very efficient once you start going through our machines. Just like your car, if it overheats, it doesn't run as well. Same thing holds true with our body. Yeah, people think you need to sweat to be productive. Not true. Bonus, our clients can literally come in, train, wear whatever they want, and go right back to their busy day without having to shower and groom. So it's very efficient, but we do it from a physiological perspective, get the most out of the body in that moment in time. It's also distraction-free. No mirrors, no music. It's not people cheerleading, rah-rah cheerleading, coaches screaming at them, or people gawking at each other or socializing in the mirror and things like that with each other. You're truly one-on-one with your trainer. So it's not general use of facility or group classes. You're always under our expert care. Our equipment is unique in the fact there's low friction, which we utilize a protocol. And that's why we can scale this and make this a scalable model for a franchise, because we have a system in place. And our protocol is what we call a high intensity, low force model, meaning we lift the weights in about 8 to 10 seconds and we lower them in about 8 to 10 seconds. We move slow because we want tension on the muscle the entire time. It robs the body momentum, takes all the stress off the joints. So we get a profound effect in a fraction of the time most people spend in the gym. So it's quality over quantity. It's total body routine, in, out, back to your busy day in 20 and 25 minutes. Ideally, we train twice a week. So 20 minutes twice a week without breaking a sweat, back to your busy day and improving the quality of your life.
And about how many clients do you have, coming into the gym?
Yeah, we see about 350 sessions per week in both of my studios. So that's pretty good volume for a personal training studio.
Yeah.
So from a business model, it's lucrative and it's profitable. So, we tailor to typically our clientele is going to be around 45 to 50 years old. It's typically C-suite, business executives, male and female, who have built their wealth, but let their health kind of suffer. And that's where we come in to help them on the back nine, if you will, of golf terms for life, because now they're having grandchildren or they want to travel and they're starting to think about retirement and they want to enjoy those golden years, if you will. Well, now they can't get up and down off the floor with their grandchildren. They can't go for long hikes or go see the cities that they want to go and travel to. And so that's where we come in, is help them to improve the quality of their life through strength training. And why strength training is because we all suffer from what we call sarcopenia at the end of the day. Sarcopenia is the wasting away of muscle tissue and strength. And we lose about 3 to 5% of our muscular mass per decade after the age of 30. You're like, well, what's the big deal? When we lose our strength and our muscle mass, we decrease our cognitive function, our balance goes down, our energy goes down, our libido goes down, our blood pressure, cholesterol, and sugar levels go up. Think type 2 diabetes. Our joints start to degrade. Arthritis starts to sit in. So all of these things can be combated through strength training. That's why I think it's like the fountain of youth, and everybody should be doing some form of strength training as they age to combat that sarcopenia and the aging process, if you will. So I always say we would like to reverse the aging process in only 20 minutes twice a week. And the way we can reverse it is because we have what's called epigenetic changes. That's changes in your hormone profile. So these things can start to turn on and off through strength training, let alone cognitive increases as well. Clients with Alzheimer's, dementia, tons of research to support that strength training can help from a cognitive perspective as well.
Wow, fantastic. I know you started out by doing much of the training yourself, and then you've tried to leverage yourself by moving out of the one-on-one training yourself and build a team. I wonder if you could talk about that, because that has so many applications for other entrepreneurs, not themselves getting tied up in the day-to-day, but moving more towards being a manager or an owner of a business.
Yeah. So when I started this company, the first business book I ever read was The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. So, I was a technician. I was an athletic trainer coming out of physical therapy and a strength coach. And I was like, oh, I can do this. Why should I work for a physical therapy practice? So I had the entrepreneurial seizure. And I started at the time, I had a business partner. So we started our own little company. It just started with a few of our PT patients actually, and started to build that. But then as I started to build a business, I got really enamored with building a business and in marketing, the advertising culture, what goes into building a team and how to support that team and how to elevate that team. And actually, I want to work my way out of a job, right? So I want to take all of my jobs and responsibilities and delegate them down to my team and elevate my team, because we can all grow together. I'm one guy and I want to make a profound impact on the world, improving the quality of their health and fitness through strength training. And so I need a massive team to do that. That's why we're franchising. So working myself out of the day-to-day, yeah, I trained, I'd see 60 sessions a week. I'd do the advertising, the marketing. I was the janitor. I was the finance guy. I wore all those hats, right? But then as I built this and I wanted to get it bigger, I got smarter and I started to delegate and delegate and delegate. And for an entrepreneur, type A type personality, that's kind of a hard thing to do when you're a little obsessive about your babies. So, but I realized the more I can ascend people and give them the opportunity, they're going to shine. So I hire A players. I want high level performers, and I want to surround myself with like-minded people who have the same vision as I do. And I can give them an opportunity to live their life stream, helping make an impact on people without them necessarily taking the risk as far as my team goes. But now I want to make it a step further and have an entrepreneur who wants to maybe get in the fitness space and make an impact, but also make an impact on their life from a profitability and owning a business. And that's the unique thing about our franchise model. You don't necessarily have to be in the fitness space. you don't even have to know anything about exercise, because we can hire a GM with you. We can train that GM, and they can then hire the trainers, and we can train them, and you can inspect what you expect as that business grows. So if you have any business acumen, that's a bonus and a plus. You don't have to be an owner operator like most fitness gyms are required.
Great. Before we get into the franchising, I want to ask you a question or two more about your philosophy about workouts and health, because you've obviously given it a lot of thought. You talk a lot, I think, about simplifying a lot of things in your life, but particularly simplifying your workout, and how a lot of people, and I really believe this is true, get very tied up in the sort of complexity of their workout, lots of measurements and monitoring and how many times I do this. And you kind of go in a different direction, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we subscribe to what we call the minimum effective dose, and doctors use it. Pharmaceutical companies bank their livelihood on it. And what it means is, if you have high blood pressure and they give you a medicine, they're going to give you the minimum effective dose, the minimum amount of that drug to provoke the desired change. Too much is toxic, can have an adverse effect or literally kill you. Not enough doesn't do anything. So the same thing holds true with exercise. All of the research will show the sole determining factor for change in the body is the intensity or the quality of the exercise. So we bring the intensity up and the volume and frequency down, because there's an inverse relationship between the two. You only have so much energy to expend once you're inside the gym. So analogy I like to give is that if my goal was to get the world's best suntan, which I don't advocate, but if it were, the stimulus on the body to create the change, the result of a suntan is UV radiation. So if I go out on a nice sunny day and the UV radiation is higher, then I'm more apt to get a better suntan. Or I could take that UV radiation and bottle it up and put it in a light bulb in a tanning bed, and within a fraction of the time, 5-6 minutes, I can get a just as good or better result, because what changed? The intensity of that UV radiation. So we're more efficient with that UV radiation, getting the result that we want. Same thing with us. Most people go in the gym hours on end, multiple days a week, spinning their wheels and never really getting the results that they want. Because as soon as it starts to get harder, challenging, or discomforting, they stop. It sucks. Look, exercise is not fun when done correctly. It's challenging and it is discomforting to a level. But at the end of the day, if you can succumb to that process and what we call inroad the muscular system, we want to simply momentarily weaken you the best we can in the shortest period of time, so you can go back out in the world, then change and adapt, give you a couple of days of rest recovery. That's when the body changes, bring you back, repeat that process.
Fantastic. So let's talk about the franchising for a second. You
Sure.
have the 2 facilities of your own that you own and operate, and you got a team you run it with, and you're now starting to open up the idea of franchises in other locations. Tell me, if I'm listening and thinking about buying a franchise, what would that look like for me?
Yeah, I mean, the initial step is we send everybody an FDD. That's the franchise disclosure document. That's the legal document that you have to have. It outlines everything from financials to the requirements, the initial fee, the structure, what we provide as a franchise, or the training, the systems, everything that you get, the turnkey, systems and marketing and advertising. So that's a big lengthy document. So like 147 pages. So we go through that, and then we have a discovery call. See if it's a good fit. And then we welcome you in on what we call a discovery day. You actually come in and see it for yourself. You'll shadow sessions with my clients and my trainers. You'll see the back end of all of our marketing systems, our CRM, our scheduling software. How are we automate our marketing, the marketing we provide for you. We do a ton of content education marketing for our clientele and for our prospects. And we provide that all for the franchisees. So it really is a turnkey system. And then you like what you see and you want to buy in, then we sign the franchise agreement, and then we hit the ground running, get you built out. We order your equipment. We do your build out wherever your facility is. We design it, help you design it with you, help you through lease negotiations. So you set yourself up for success moving forward. That typically, from the time we sign to open, usually 4 to 6 months, takes time to build out, takes time to build the equipment, gives you time to find your space. And then we hit the ground running.
And what would that cost if I'm the future owner? What am I putting down to get started, and then what kind of income could I expect?
Yeah, the initial fee, the franchise fee, is $49,500, so it's $49,500. If you buy and opt in for more, then it decreases, and then it's a 6% royalty of monthly gross revenue with a 1% advertising fund. So it's 7% out the door of a monthly gross revenue that gets paid to the franchisor. And we give you everything we know how to do to make a successful business. We have support behind the scenes as far as the trainers, the admin, the administration, everything we supply you. Because look, at the end of the day, if my franchisees aren't successful, I'm not successful. So I'm going to be successful because I'm not in this to lose, for sure.
So it's really turnkey, and even down to the hiring, you show people how to hire. Do you actually help with the hiring?
Yeah, we entire process. We have it all laid out. I make it hard to get hired at MaxStrength Fitness because I want to attract, like I said, A players. So we have a tried and proven system that weeds out. It's just like our marketing attracts the right client and repels the wrong ones. So does our marketing, if you will, for our advertisements for our trainers. We call them life transformers. So yeah, we make it, it's a process through. I mean, it's like a 4-step process as we go through it. And the last interview process is actually taken through them through a demo workout, because you can truly see a personality of somebody when they do high intensity strength training, because when they hit that fight or flight response, you can see some personality come out. So it's a good interview question, if you will.
Yeah, great. You mentioned CRM system, and we do talk a lot about technology on the show. And I'm curious, what's your view of technology generally in terms of how you use it in the gym, and what CRM system do you use?
Yeah, so we've used a couple of different things. We use MindBody for our scheduling software. That's one of the bigger ones in the fitness industry. And then we're currently using a system called OnBoardMe that was fitness specific. They're a newer, smaller company, but we've been with them from the beginning. We use HubSpot and other CRMs. I've used Infusionsoft in the past. There's tons of them out there. What we like to do with the technologies, we like to use automation for our marketing. So appointment reminders go out, text messages go out. We can do all of our marketing. Every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, we send out content, like I said, as far as educational content for our clients. So we do educational, inspirational videos on our YouTube channel, but we automate all that. If somebody opts in from a prospect, they raise their hand, they opt in on a form on our website, it goes into an automated sequence over a 30-day follow-up sequence that tags us to call and then text, or automatic text and then call, follow up with that prospect so that nobody gets lost. They get put automatically into a pipeline so you can visually see where all of your prospects are through your channels. So we like to really leverage the technology from a follow-up perspective and, along the customer journey. So when a client becomes a customer, all the way from the day they raise their hand from a prospect to the day if they're either stay with us or leave with us, it's all automated throughout. Check-ins, we use NPS for our net promoter score. So that's every 3 months is going to be automatically sent out, capture testimonials, send them to a Google or Facebook review. So all that's done on the back end, automation. And those are things we set up for our franchisees so they can really focus on building the business and not have to worry about the minutia in the back end.
Yeah, great stuff. When we come back, we want to talk to Jeff a little bit about managing your time, because it's a challenge that all these entrepreneurs face. And I know you've given it a lot of thought and have some inspiring words. So stay with us. This is Gordon Henry, and this episode is brought to you by GovCon Winners, the leading company in training you to become a multi-million-dollar government contractor. The founder of GovCon Winners, Kizzy Parks, who you heard recently on one of our shows, has been awarded over $50 million in government contracts. And she believes everyone and every business has something to offer the federal government. And that means you, whether you've never heard of government contracting before, you've just started, or you've been in it for a while. Kizzy's proven system will diversify your income, and you will create more options and have more security than ever before. Whatever it is you and your business provides, don't miss out on the countless opportunities to sign on with government and boost your revenue today. Go to www.govconwinners.com now and find out about all Kizzy and her team have to offer. All right, we're back with Jeff, and Jeff is going to talk to us about managing your time. One of the most critical things for anybody, really, especially entrepreneurs. And I know, Jeff, you've given a lot of thought to how you manage your time, and you told a story once about how you manage your mornings and getting started during your day. Could you share that with us?
Yeah, absolutely. I've worked on this and refined it over time as far as my morning routine goes. So, I always like to set my mind and my body and my spirit first and foremost, and take care of and spend some time with the most important thing in my life, which is my girls. So currently I have 2 in high school and 1 just went off to college. So the dynamic's a little bit different, but I wake up every morning, make sure that they get up, make sure that they're on the way out the door, spend a little bit of time with them, because I want to make sure that I'm present with my girls and connect with them right from the beginning of the day. The other thing is, if they're packing their lunch, I'll write them a little inspirational note. I'll put that into their little lunch bag. it's funny because you think that they really don't pay attention to it. They think it's corny or whatever, but one day I didn't do it, and my middle daughter said, "Dad, where's my note today?" And I was like, "Well, I must have forgot it, right?" And she's like, "Well, I share it with all my friends." And so I was like, "Oh my gosh, now the pressure's on." And it's funny because my youngest daughter this school year, she left her lunchbox in the class, and it didn't have her name on the outside of it. So the teacher opened it up and she found the note, and she said, "Oh, by the way, great note." So, I'm always just trying to inspire and lead my girls, obviously. So just, anything that I can come, they're going through their school day, they come out of the lunch, and, there's a little inspiration, motivation for them. Spending that time. And so when they're off to school, then I got to get my mind right before I go into my job. So I spend some time, I'm spiritual. So I spend some time doing daily devotion. I have an accountability partner. We'll read a Bible verse. We'll go back and forth and, riff on that. And then I do some meditation for 10 to 15 minutes. I ground my mind, I ground my spirit. And then I might do some movement patterns of some stretching or some breathing exercises. I recently bought a cold plunge, so I like to dive into that for 5 minutes. If you can get into a cold plunge for 5 minutes, you've won the day already, in my opinion, because it just builds that resiliency plus the inflammation and all the health benefits that go to it. So I always like to do something to get outside my comfort zone. And I don't care how many times you do that cold plunge, you're never gonna get used to it. So I like to do that. So that's kind of my morning routine. It's setting my mind, setting my spirit, setting my intentionality. I go through and I visualize my day, what I want my day to look like and how I want to show up. Like this podcast, I already visualized it. I knew it was going to be a success. We're going to have a great conversation here. People are going to resonate with it and take some value out of it. So, I always like to visualize and then go take massive action going into the day, because then when surprises come up, I've already kind of gone through them from a mindset perspective. So that's kind of my morning routine.
And you said once, I heard you say that when you started doing that morning routine that you just described, initially your reaction was, no, this is a lot of time I have to do with this, kind of like this is a bit of a chore. And then you realize, this is my 3 daughters. Like, I love them. This is what I want to spend time with. And you really reframed it from sort of a chore into like a blessing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The one thing, there's a few other things I left out. One, it's always when I do my meditation, I follow up with gratitude, because when you go into the day in a state of gratitude, it's the opposite of fear. And so there are two opposing thought processes. So I go into a day being grateful, and then your reticular activating system is now looking for things to be grateful for as you go. But I'm looking at it like I don't say I have to spend time with my girls or I have to get them out the door. I get to spend time with my girls. I get to get them out the door, because a lot of people aren't fortunate to be able to do that. Or, if I have to make, 20 phone calls today, I get to make those 20 phone calls today. If you rephrase I get with instead of I have to, it completely changes your perspective. You become more grateful for the opportunities that you have in front of you. And it just makes life, takes it to a whole nother level, in my opinion. And when I started doing that morning routine, and if I don't get it done, I really crave it and I miss it. And I really do everything I can to make sure I get it done. A lot of people will say, no, don't waste your time doing that. Do this, do that, and then do it, later. Well, later never gets done. So I find if I don't do it first thing in the morning, it ain't going to get done. But I like to work on high level productivity things from a mental perspective in the morning. But I find I'm much more productive if I've spent time with my spirituality, with my kids, getting my gratefulness in and doing a little bit of activity with my body and my breathing, my meditation. And then I can be on fire when I walk in the door at work.
I love it. Yeah. And you've also, I know, had a lot of great mentors, some people who you work with directly, and probably some people maybe you've just read their books or gone to their conferences. Could you give us a couple of ideas of mentorship that you've benefited by, whether it's someone you knew personally or somebody you just admired from afar?
I mean, there's so many of them. I follow so many thought leaders online, like Tony Robbins and Brendan Burchard and Grant Cardone. And, there's a lot of marketing guys I follow, personal productivity. There's a lot of those guys online I follow, but then personal mentors too. I have a very personal coach that has been in the franchise space, very successful in his own right in the chiropractic space. And so he's helping me launch my franchise because, I don't have to learn from, I can learn from his mistakes and not have to recreate the wheel. And then I surround myself into masterminds. So I'll be in different mastermind groups. So I've been in EO, which is Entrepreneurs Organization. There's Vistage and other groups. I always try to surround myself with like-minded people. And like I said, I think earlier, I like to be the dumbest guy in the room. So I try to elevate my acumen as we go, working around people, because if you just stay at a low level. Like they say, what you're the sum of the average of the 5 people that you spend most time with. And sometimes we need to, we need to change out that friend group or that association group. And that's so true. Because if I look around the people who are around me most times, they're successful as well. They're entrepreneur. They might not be entrepreneurs, but they're entrepreneur minded. But more importantly, they are growth minded. What I don't want to do is surround myself with fixed minded people. Like, oh my gosh, this is happening to me, and this victim mentality, and I can't change this, and this is the way it is. And it's like, no, like you can create whatever you want. And I believe God gave us all an amazing ability and gifts. And the biggest fear for me is when I go to heaven is that I don't want to go to God and he says, well, this is the man you could have been. Like, I want to, he's like, you did everything I asked you to do. And I gave you all the capabilities and you just fulfilled it all. And that's what gives me passion every day. Is like, I know there's so much impact I can make on others. And I truly know that if I help others to get what they want, I'll get what I want in return tenfold. So I go from a servant leadership perspective.
Yeah, terrific lessons. You know, you've been an entrepreneur now since, I guess, at least 2007. That's what when you opened up MaxStrength. So it's 15 years. It's a lot of learning. Think about, sort of the young Jeff Tomaszewski and, somebody like you listening maybe to this show. What are the kind of things you would tell them about getting started, whether it's to open up their own business or maybe to become a franchisee of yours? What are some of the thoughts they should be having about the path?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing I always tell people is have something you're passionate about and something you love, and just put 100% into it. Because at the end of the day, if you truly love what you're doing, it's no longer a job. And the biggest thing is take massive action and fail fast and fail often. Because, those are where the lessons come in life. And I tell my kids, I don't care. I want them to lose once in a while because it teaches them valuable lessons, right? If we're all just winning all the time, we're never going to learn those life lessons. And it's when, we're down in our worst time in our life, when truly we just come out of it, like, during the pandemic and everything, some people just really shrunk up and went down. We thrived. Not only did we survive it, but we thrived through it. And we led our clients through that, that storm, if you will. So I'd say, one, be afraid, that's fine, but take massive action and face that fear head on and be passionate about what you do and just go at it 100%. Action is the biggest thing because most people are inactionable and they just go through life zombie-like, in my opinion. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, this has been really a treat for me to listen to some of your thoughts and to hear the story about MaxStrength. And I can see why you've been so successful with MaxStrength, and I'm sure it's going to be terrific as you move more into this franchising world. My question for you now is, how should entrepreneurs who are listening, who may want to get involved with you, what's the best way for them to get involved and hopefully sign up?
Yeah, they can go to MaxStrengthFitness.com. So that's MaxStrengthFitness.com. All of our social handles, Facebook and Instagram and YouTube are on there. They can see all of our videos. We have over 100 videos. And then there's a franchise tab at the top of the website. So they can see the client-facing website, what that would look like from a franchisee's perspective, because we would duplicate that into their city. And then if they go to the franchise tab at the top, they can fill out an application form. We'll hop on the phone, describe it more, see if it's a good fit, and then we can go from there. So MaxStrengthFitness.com, you can find everything there.
Terrific. Well, Jeff, thanks for coming on the show. Really great to have you here.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity.
Really enjoyed it. And I want to thank our producer, Tim Alleman, and coordinators, DeEtte Barnett, Daniel Huddleston. They do a great job. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please tell your colleagues, friends, and family to subscribe. And please leave us a 5-star review. We'd really appreciate it. Helps us in the rankings. Until next time, make it a great week.